The main legal issue that's pending is an appeal to a decision in a lawsuit that was brought against the state of California for conducting the auction of allowances. These are the permits that regulated businesses have to purchase in order to emit carbon. The first court looked at this case and decided in favor of the state of California, as courts have done in the other two lawsuits that dealt with the cap-and-trade program. So we're optimistic that the state will prevail in this appeal. Well, we thought that legislation was very ill-conceived, and we were able to stop it in the last session. It has not come back this year so far. Basically, to have the cap-and-trade function as efficiently as possible, you need the biggest pool as possible. You need offsets from not only around other parts of the United States, but from the world, like from forests. So we're promoting a role for tropical forest offsets in the California's AB 32 program. Annually, the emissions of greenhouse gases from loss of forests in the tropics account for 15%. 15% of the annual emissions, global annual emissions, are from forest loss. We can't solve climate change if we don't include tropical forests into California's program. The future of the cap-and-trade program is really it's grounded in the future of AB 32. Cap-and-trade is just one mechanism in the overarching program under AB 32. It's the one that seems to get all the attention because it has a market. But AB 32 is quite broad, and 85% of the emission reductions come from other measures, regulatory measures, and other measures other than cap-and-trade. Now, what happens after 2020 is a little bit unclear. The California Air Resources Board feels they have the authority to continue the program after 2020. Within the past 2 weeks, several bills have been introduced in Sacramento, in the state capitol, that would specifically address how what happens after after the year 2020. One would extend AB 32, one would not. So we'll see what our legislators would do with that, but we're pretty optimistic that California's AB 32 climate change program will continue past 2020 and achieve the state's goal of an 80% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050. We're very happy that the governor has proposed that $80 million of these funds be allocated to natural resource conservation projects. And he's included a request for $50 million for restoring our forests to reduce the risk of wildfire and to promote sustainable water supply. And he's also proposed that $30 million be used to restore our wetlands. So in California's delta, San Joaquin, Sacramento River Delta, wetlands are a critical resource, and they can store vast amounts of carbon. So these kinds of funds for natural resources, we believe, are an important component of what he's proposed. In addition, he's proposed money for energy efficiency around the use of water and in our agricultural industry. We think those are very good use of the funds because they will provide low cost and quick greenhouse gas emission benefits. We're not pleased with what's happened at the international level. There's a lot of potential in states and provinces and cities working together around the world to really address climate change. So I think what California is doing has become a global model to others around the world. So California has now joined with Quebec, and other jurisdictions in Brazil and Indonesia are looking to join with California around tropical forest conservation. So I think there's a big role to play for state level and local action. And I think part of what that does is, first of all, it helps us address climate change now, and it also puts more pressure on the international community to take real meaningful action. Nature is a very powerful tool to address climate change. We're promoting a comprehensive suite of nature-based solutions. So, for example, I have worked for over 12 years to develop the rules for forest offsets in the California's cap-and-trade program. And I'm very pleased that this past November, California approved the first forest carbon credits for compliance with the AB 32 climate regulatory program. So we want to expand that. We want to develop those rules like that for wetlands, for grasslands, for tropical forest conservation. The current rules are only deal with forests in the United States. We want to bring tropical forests into that program. And also land use decisions by local counties. By structuring development and planning development in ways that are climate smart, we can achieve conservation, make a better world, better life for our communities, and address climate change through greenhouse gas emission reductions.